I kind of get the idea that this young man did not know if he wanted to be a stripper or if he wanted to be a rapper. I think he was a bit of both a stripper rapper, but right now he has 99 years to work on his stripping and rapping. Only thing is, he won't be stripping for no females because it's all males up in where he's going to be for the next 99 years. So, I don't know if you're familiar with the story, so I'm going to give you the whole story. Welcome to BrainFLoTv. Again, everybody, it's your host with the most. Listen carefully, right? So, 8 months after his mother was shot to death, shout out to Washington Post, 8 months after his mother was shot to death, Carmaine Wilson, that's his real name, who called himself Young QC, he rolled up to the Chase Bank in Chicago in his Ford Mustang, wearing a leopard print, and wearing a leopard print. The aspiring rapper known as Young QC sauntered out of the car, customized with full Lamborghini doors, and explained to the video camera that he was about to go withdraw thousands of dollars from his bank account. It was for the fans, he said. And soon, in the video, he was throwing wads of cash into the air to dozens of screaming people. I don't know who he is, but he walked us around the mall and gave us money. One fan wrote on Twitter in 2013. We're in 2020 now. You're about to see how this story all unfolded. So, that was just one of the many ways that Wilson spent the $90,000 he inherited from his mother after her murder. $90,000. Now, the way he was spending that money, you know $90,000 wouldn't last that long. But this is how dumb he was. So check it out. This is money he would have inherited or did inherit after his mother's murder, right? And according to the Cook County prosecutors, this dude photographed himself with stacks of bills at a Burberry store, at a massage parlor, at home on the carpet, all sprawled out, wiggling up his little body like, you know when you spray the roach with that spray, and the roach rolls over and starts doing a crazy dance? He all on the carpet. That's why I say I don't know if he wanted to be a stripper or a rapper. But he's making all these videos and posting them on social media, trying to boost his rap career, and it's from the money, and everywhere he went, there was money all over the place. And he was seeming to be reveling in his newfound wealth, but it was the money from what he should have inherited after his mama had passed. And he was all too eager to spend the money, prosecutors say, because killing his mom was actually all his idea. Man, we live in a cold, cold world, Jack. Cold, cold world. You don't even know who's going to take you out if you're supposed to go out that way. It could even be your baby, your one and only child that you gave everything. They just can't wait for you to live your life because you're living too long, mama. You got to go. Damn, when you going to die so I could inherit that money that you got in the savings and that life insurance policy? That's sad. So, on Friday, the 30-year-old was sentenced to 99 years in prison after authorities uncovered his plot to hire a hitman to murder his mom. He actually hired one of his homies to murder his mother, Yolanda Holmes, in 2012, so that he could inherit her wealth, all of which was carried out. The hit was carried out. He got the money from inheritance. He spent it the way he wanted to spend it and all that. The hitman, whose name is Eugene Spencer, he was also picked up by the feds. And he was sentenced to 100 years. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I don't know nobody that lived to 130. So if you're 30 years old and the judge gave you 100 years, he might as well have sentenced you to death. Because you are dead anyways, at least to the outside world. There's no way you're going to outlive that sentence. And judging from his little squirmy little body and his little... this is funny, but it ain't funny. And I hope somebody that's young, that's thinking stupid, watches this and realizes that, hey man, I could go down that route. And I don't think 100 years is for me. He's going to be somebody's girl in there, at least until he get his weight up. You understand what I'm saying? I would love to see an update to him 20 years from now, if I'm still around 20 years from now. Both he and Wilson were convicted of first-degree murder last March. A getaway driver, which is a female named Loriana Johnson, she was previously sentenced to 14 years for her role. This is what the prison records show. So, I'm guessing they picked him up. They picked Loriana up. Loriana told who did the shooting, and it all went south from there. Anyways, the word is matricide. I had never heard of this word since I was born. Matricide. And the word matricide means the murder of one's own mother. Cook County Judge Stanley Sachs said from the bench on Friday, the Sun-Times reported, whatever he wanted, his mother gave it to him. She gave him a car. She gave him a job. One could say that he was a spoiled kid. She gave him life. And it was his choice to take away her life. She gave him a car. She gave him a job. She dressed him nicely. This wasn't no kid. This is a grown-ass man that is being treated as a boy by his mother. And this is how he pays her back. He was able to flaunt it all in the streets. Even while his mom was alive, he was looked at in the neighborhood as one of them boys or those young men that had everything. You know, girls like it when you have a nice car. You dress fresh. You look like you got money. You look well kept. That type of stuff. But it was all his mom's doing. So even at 20 years old, 25 years old, his mother was still taking care of him. Asked whether he had anything to say for himself, he said, I just want to say, nobody loves my mother more than me. And that's all he said. She was all I had. That's it. No more. In a statement to the Washington Post on Monday, Wilson's defense attorney, Stephen L. Richards, said that, hold up, back the hell up for a second. When asked in court what he had to say, this boy said, nobody loves his mom more than him. I beg to differ. Okay? Apparently strangers loved your mama more than you did because ain't no stranger killed her. You're her child, and you orchestrated the ending of her life for some petty shit? In a statement to the Washington Post on Monday, Wilson's defense attorney, Stephen L. Richards, said Wilson is planning to appeal. He argues that Sachs, as an unelected associate judge, should have rescued himself from the case, among other things. So his attorney is saying that, first of all, the judge is unelected associate judge, and he should have never proceeded over this case in the first place. He also believed that the interrogation of QC, the wannabe rapper, Mr. Wilson, was coercive, and he said that it was illegal. Wilson's arrest in 2013 and his mother's killing astounded those who were close to her. Holmes, who was 45 years old, was a beloved local beauty shop owner on the north side of Chicago. Wilson, or QC the rapper, was her only child. And he had her name tattooed on his shoulder. She loved him. She bought him a Camaro. She bought him designer clothes. And she did whatever she could to keep him away from gangs, because you know how the south side of Chicago is, or the north side of Chicago. You know how Chicago is, period. Right? She did whatever she could to keep this young man away from gangs, drugs, street life, whatever, so that he wouldn't follow in his father's footsteps. She dedicated her life to this youth. She was like, you know what? I don't even want no other kids. because I messed around and had one, and the man I had the kid for is not here to help me take care of the kid. I don't need to have no more. I'm going to make sure that this one that I have has everything that I never had, to include all my love and attention. And she spoiled him all the way into adulthood. Wilson's father, or QC the rapper, who orchestrated his mom's death, his father's name is Jeffrey Todd Wilson. His father was actually a West Side gang leader, very well known. And he was convicted of murder in 1993 and was sentenced to life in prison and is still currently doing his life sentence. This is according to DNA Info. I'm floored because out of everyone, I thought he is the last one who would do anything like this to his mother. Iona Anderson, one of Holmes' close friends, said, who worked at her salon. She told that to the Chicago Tribune in 2013. I don't know if it got to the point where he loved money more than his mother or what. Yep, that's exactly what happened. He wanted the street life. He wanted the fame. He thought he could flip her money into millions. At the time of his arrest, authorities said that he admitted to the police that he plotted against his mom for financial gain, but he claims that he never intended for her to die. It was supposed to be a robbery, is what he told the detectives. But the hitman Spencer, who was also picked up by the investigators, told the investigators that Wilson ordered him to kill her and offered $3,500 for the job, because the only way he was going to get the life insurance money payout is if she was dead, not through a robbery. In the early morning hours of September 2nd, 2012, Spencer broke into Holmes' apartment, which is the hitman breaking into his mom's apartment on the north side, only to find her sleeping in bed right next to her boyfriend, Curtis Wyatt. The hitman fatally shot and then stabbed her before the boyfriend fought him off, and they fought and rumbled and tussled, and he ran out of the apartment. This is what the Sun-Times reported. Wyatt later identified Spencer. Her boyfriend later identified the hitman in a lineup, and he said that Wilson ultimately paid him only $70. Wilson, the wannabe rapper, was the sole beneficiary of his mom's life insurance policies, and he inherited more than $90,000 in savings and a life insurance policy payout. He started spending it quickly. He showed off puppies he purchased for $1,500, a new collection of Air Jordans, as well as guns, marijuana, gold chains. He filmed a music video, rap song, which he uploaded to his YouTube. He started a new YouTube show that's called Nick's Story that was supposed to be described as a family drama. And in videos and selfies, he flaunted his new Mustang. Forget the Camaro his mama bought him. He upgraded to a new Mustang and had it customized with Lamborghini doors, flashy watches. He withdrew nearly $70,000 from his mother's account in the months after she had died. He gained access to her wealth and whatever else she had, said Tia, who also worked at her salon. You just don't start to splurge immediately after your mama is murdered, man. Publicly, young QC spoke at least once about his mother's death before his arrest. He showed up at the funeral for a teenager who was shot to death in 2013. My mother, she was a neighborhood woman. He told WGN back then. A guy entered our home and murdered her just to steal. That's what he told the news, right? During his trial in 2019, prosecutors played the video of Wilson literally throwing away his mother's money after he made the withdrawal from the bank, and another video of him flexing in a mirror wearing a gold chain and fanning himself with $100 bills. I don't play no games, man. I do this for real. I don't got no problem with giving back, he said, just before throwing his mom's money to strangers. Wilson's defense attorney had argued that the videos were unfair, proving nothing about his motive while simply showing that he's a bad person. He did not immediately respond to the request for comments late on Saturday. The jury deliberated for 2 hours before convicting him. Leaving the courtroom after his conviction, his aunt, Holmes' aunt, Sandra Jackson, told the newspaper, "After all this, we still don't know why he did it." Well, Auntie, I'm going to close this video out by telling you why he did it. The little boy was spoiled. The little boy was greedy. The little boy was a boy. Even though he was 30 years old at this point, he is still a boy. And there's a lot of them going around. Little boys trapped in a grown man's body, need to be pampered, and mama done spoiled them because daddy not around, and they grow up with a whole lot of feminine tendencies and scream and kick and scratch and cry when they don't get designer clothes and designer shoes and a nice car to drive and mama's life savings before she dies, and he just couldn't wait. And he had dreams and plans for himself that he thought were bigger than his mom's life. And in order for him to achieve those things, he had to take his mother's life, which is exactly what he did. So I'm going to end this video by saying this. Shout out to the judge who gave this idiot 99 years and gave the trigger man 100 years. I understand y'all might have did a little plea deal with the girl who was the getaway driver and probably got some information from her to solidify the case. But if so be it, her ass should have got 100 years as well. It's BrainFLoTv. Leave your comments in the comments section below. And remember, no bad deed goes unpunished. I'm out. Peace.